Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Yeah, like you said, the least we can expect at this point, at this time, actually, is a protest to register people's disenchantment with the state of things in this country. We are all aware of the situation we're all living in right now. Cost of the most basic necessities of life have gone through the roof. People can hardly afford to have their basic meals. A lot of families are starving. Of course, it's a given fact that most families now have to skip meals, and a situation which is not very good for growing children. And of course, we want to talk about education. We've had school fees at all levels becoming increasingly out of reach to working families. School fees are being jacked up everywhere, sometimes by several hundred percentage, several hundred percentile rate. And of course, there have been sporadic protests even by students all over the various schools and campuses around that. Healthcare, we all know, very few people can now access healthcare because it's largely commercialized. The drugs are no longer affordable. And even the most common drugs for the most common ailments like malaria are becoming very unaffordable for most working families. So we can go on and on, you know. But it will appear that the ruling elites are totally immune to the realities that Nigeria have to live through around this time. We have a president who we understand bought a yacht some times ago. And now there are rumors, which they have not disclaimed, that they have also procured a new multi-billion naira presidential jet. And of course, we all know there was an extant presidential fleet of about 11 aircraft, which they spent stupendous amount of money to maintain on a yearly basis. So it will appear from every indications that our ruling elites don't give a damn about what ordinary working folks are going through. And of course, that's an unpalatable situation for most Nigerians. So it shouldn't be a surprise that young people are coming up at this time to say, we can't take this anymore. The least we can do is to register a protest. And of course, we've been having all manner of online mobilizations for a protest, which we understand will start from August 1. Some people bandied August 5. All sorts of, I mean, but it will appear that the magic month is August. So they want to start August, and some are saying it will be for 10 days, some are saying it will be throughout the month of August. Whatever it is, it will appear that there's a gathering cloud of massive protest by the young people of Nigeria. Yeah, the outcome, I hope, is that one, there will be a rejig of political consciousness in this part of the world. Perhaps there will be a rethink of what democracy actually is or is supposed to be. That democracy shouldn't be about a few people holding on like forever to power and recycling themselves. And I mean, without bringing any new idea on board. We started the so-called Fourth Republic about 24 years ago now. the longest unbroken period of so-called democratic rule. And this is the Scotch cat we're having is just a shame. All indices of development are in shambles. We just talk about education. We just talk about healthcare. We can talk about employment, the situation with employment. The fact that Nigeria has actually suffered massive deindustrialization in the 24-year period of so-called democracy. Hundreds of factories and corporations have folded up because of the inclement economic policies that have been pursued by the government. We've had situations whereby in the textile sector alone, we've had over 150 textile factories closing down with close to 800,000 workers laid off. And you can multiply that across the different sectors of the economy. Because those are aspects that Nigerians don't talk about. Everybody knows there is unemployment, but hardly anybody talks about why is there unemployment. And you can trace back the continuous industrialization trend to an abiding commitment of the present ruling elite since 1999 to the pursuit of neoliberal policies. It started with the Obasanjo government, which privatized over 130 strategic industries, which ironically were built by the military to put Nigeria on the industrial trail. The Ajaokuta, the Delta Steel, the inland steel rolling mills, all of this was supposed to make available the basic industrial inputs for industrialization, from the iron billets to the flat sheets and ingots and so on. So you want to talk about Hascon, the aluminum smelter company. These were carefully thought out investments, multi-billion-dollar investment to kickstart Nigerian industrialization. But all of these were deconstructed, all of these were looted, stripped. A lot of asset stripping under Obasanjo. People became overnight billionaires. Just asset stripping in the name of privatization. And of course, all of this have been documented of how massive multi-trillion-dollar investments of the Nigerian state were looted by a few people. And unfortunately, the media celebrate this kind of people now as the mover and shakers of society. The very same people that have crumbled, literally crumbled, all trajectory of development in this part of the world. So we didn't just get out. I find it amusing when I had the sentiment that what we're having now didn't start 1 year ago. Of course, yes, it didn't start 1 year ago. But the same class of people have been there. The president of Nigeria today, President Ahmed Tinubu, has been part and parcel of the policy direction that is responsible for the present chaos and rot. Because he was governor and has been a party leader, he has been part of leadership of a major political party since 1999 that continually, determine who actually sits there in Aso Rock. So they can't claim to be oblivious or not to be part of what's been on since 1999, in various forms and dimensions. And of course, even in those parts of the country where they have held sovereignty, we also have the records. There is nothing significantly different they have done in all these other, mainly the southwest part of the country where. So it's quite, to be very mild, it's quite deceptive to make it look like they are new to government and they are trying to right the wrongs. Whereas what they're actually doing is to consolidate on the failed trajectories that have led us to where we are. We were talking about deindustrialization. We know that in the past 1 year alone, Nigeria has never experienced the level of massive factory close down that we have experienced in just 1 year. A situation where major multinational corporations, major investments, legacy investments have folded up. It was Fanon who said every generation out of relative obscurity would discover its own mission, to fulfill it or to betray it. Like you said, we've been part of movements in the past when we were also very young. Today, they talk of democracy. Some of us put our lives on the line to chase away the military. But we have now come to realize that it's not just about the gap. It's not about you. It's not about the uniform. It's not about what you are wearing, whether it's khaki or agbada. We've come to realize that a leadership without direction can just be as horrible, whether in khaki or agbada. So we did the anti-military struggles. We were part of the anti-SARS protest in 1989, and then the subsequent waves of mass movements to get the military out of our political landscape and democratize. But what are we having? Our democracy has degenerated progressively into kleptocracy. Some people say kakistocracy, a situation where you have the worst element in society actually holding the fort. So I think it's the core of the youth of today to also wake up to the challenge of the times. I'm not in a situation to determine how far they can go. I'm not in a situation to define the parameters the struggle will take. I'm not in a situation to predict the specific outcomes. We can only hope that at the end of the day, we'll have positive outcomes. We'll be able to redefine the parameters of our democracy. Perhaps we'll be able to awaken the carcass of democracy in this part of the world, so that democracy can begin to live up to its billing as a system of government that is actually designed to make the people be at the center of how the entire society is run, in a way that policies and programs that people are involved in and also benefits the people will become the center stage of government policy, and not the present situation where everything seems to be designed to always benefit a certain very little political apparatchik.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.